So welcome back. Now, in that episode, we're going to plot the average returns versus the sample standard deviation of our Euro area blue chip stocks. That's the first plot you start with if you think about Markowitz type portfolio allocation. It's also the first type of plot you do if you just want to get a rough sense of how equity or how the assets of interest were doing in the past. All right, let's just do that. And we do that with the data era of the SAP Yahoo Finance data, and you will just really see it. Obviously, there's something wrong in the data. Okay, so first thing we do, we start with an investment opportunity set. Right, what's the investment opportunity set? Well, usually that is the expected return, the covariance matrix in the Gaussian environment. Yeah, if it's a non-Gaussian environment, you need the other moments of the distribution. So here we just go with mean and the standard deviation because that's what I want to plot. So let's just call it inf-op is nothing else than we take the pandas data frame, we use the aggregate function. Why? Because we know that it already contains the mean and the standard deviation as a function. We transpose it, and that is going to give us the following. Boom, you see, we have mean standard deviation on the columns, and our index coincides with the tickers. Okay, great. Now we are just going to annualize everything. Why? Because our intuition is usually built on annualized numbers in the finance sphere. So we annualize average returns by multiplying with the number of trading days per year, which are 252. And the standard deviation aggregates with square root of time. So it's the inf-op of the standard deviation times numpy square root 252. Here's what we get, right? So you kind of see Adidas earned 16% on average over the last 20 years with a 30% vol. If you look for Volkswagen, it earned 6% with a 41% vol. So already here you see the highest vol. It's a bit small, is it? The highest vol here is somewhere in the area of 45%. And there are some firms, the German Deutsche Telekom. Lost 2 decades, yeah, I have a zero, a minus 0.2%, minus 2% with a 30% vol. Okay, and now I just want to plot that. Why? I just want to see how that looks like, the investment opportunity set or the mu sigma diagram in the finance textbooks. So let's just do that. Now inf-op, that is our pandas data frame. It got a plot function. So what do we want to plot? I want a scatter plot. And I want that the x-axis is the column standard deviation. I want the y-axis to be the column mean. I want the fig size to be, I don't know, 1212. And the size of the points be 50 and the font size be 15. So now I would have the scatter plot of mean versus vol of these 42 or something firms. And now I want to annotate these. Yeah. So for I in inf-op.index, so for each ticker or for each firm, practically speaking, plt.annotate. Now here is what I want you to annotate the index, which means, yeah, the ticker. And the xy coordinates are as follows. The x is inf-op.log. It's the ticker I and the column standard deviation for the I. And just next to it, place the annotation. And now we need the y coordinate. It's infop dot log I comma mean. All right, and also just next to it, place something very small, make it even smaller. We might have to adjust that moving on forward. And the size is 15. Okay. Okay. That's a quick picture. We don't need much more. All right. The picture is too big to make it. Oh, I see. It's just big because I magnified it here. But still, make it 10. Make it 10. Boom. For I in there is something interesting going on. For I in infop.index PLT annotate the I. That's the thing. I was wondering, don't have this PLT show in the notebook. We just need that in the Python file. You see, it was inside the loop, and now that is an awful picture. Let's make it 15, 15. Come on, make a pretty picture. Oh, okay. Not yet that pretty, but at least you see firms kind of cluster in this area here in terms of realized vol and mean. SAP clearly stands out. Same return than half of the other firms, roughly here 7%, but the vol is just nearly three. Yeah, I mean, if you think the average is 35% vol, that is more than 3 times larger, and that's because of these data errors in the database. So. Try to run a Markowitz optimization. We have videos on that with what the formulas look like if you do an unconstrained. I haven't done it, but it's somewhat clear. If you do an unconstrained Markowitz, you have a firm with extremely large vol, not a particularly appealing average return. We haven't looked at the correlation, but most likely the correlation is like standard 60%. Then that looks like a portfolio you would want to short heavily. But I haven't done it. Might be a nice problem set to do. I stopped the video, and in the next video, we're going to clean up the SAP return, and then we are replotting and see what we do then.